Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. On today's episode, let's take a look at iTunes 11. So iTunes 11 is one of the biggest updates we've seen to iTunes in a while. And it still pretty much looks the same more or less, but some things are in new locations and there's some new functionality. One of the biggest new features is its speed. It's much faster than previous versions, especially if you have a large library. Let's go and take a look at some of the new features and some of the new locations of features in iTunes. So when you first get into iTunes, it kind of looks a lot different because there's no sidebar on the left, but I'll show you how to put that back if you want it. You have a new bar at the top here that has a pop-up menu, and here's where you can access all the different parts of your library, so music, movies, TV shows, etc. You can also see any shared iTunes collections listed here as well. What you don't see are other things you saw in the sidebar before, like different devices. Devices are listed here, and I have one device hooked into this Mac right now. It's an iPad. If I click on that, I go to the information about that iPad, which looks similar to as it did before. And I hit the done to exit. If I have several devices, like say an iPhone or an iPad hooked in here, I get a little list there when I click on it, and I can jump to any one of those. Now, as far as looking in your music, you have all sorts of options. Of course, you want to select here in your library. You want to select music if that's what you want to look at. And then here you can select different ways to list them. So here in the albums view, if you click on an album, it will give you this little expanded view here and show you all the songs in the album. And here you can roll over a song and you can play it and rate it. You can play and shuffle the entire album here as well. And you just hit the X here to get rid of it. Now you can also go to the songs view, which is kind of like the track view list that you had in the previous version of iTunes. And you can sort here by all sorts of different things. So you can sort by album, artists, date added, or just by the name of the song. And if you click twice, it'll sort in the opposite order. Then you can also go by artist here, and then it gives you this list on the left of all the different artists, and then it will show you by album each thing here. So you can click all artists and then kind of get the same as the album view in previous iTunes, where you can see each album, its cover art here, and all the songs in it, which is a really nice looking view. You can also go to genres and get something very similar here just by going to genre. Playlists are also listed in the same way here, with the playlists listed on the left, including your smart playlists, and then the songs as you go through them here on the right. Now, what's really different in iTunes is how songs are played. Previously, if you were to have a song playing and then want to play another song, it would just replace the current song with a new one. Now there's a thing called the Up Next list. So let's go into an album here and let's select a song and click here, and we can select Add to Up Next list. Or I could simply select the song and hit play. Now if I look at the Up Next list, you can see it's added the rest of the songs on this album as you would expect to the Up Next list, because you would want it to continue playing the album. Let's clear that out here, and it's just playing this one song. So I'm going to go here to another song and I'm going to play next. And now you can see it's added that one to the list. I can jump to another album and hit play next as well, and you can see I've got this list here of songs that's going to play next, and I can rearrange them. I can add to them. So for instance, if I wanted to rearrange and move the song up, I can remove this song from the list completely, and you can see what's there. You can even hit this little clock here and see the previously played songs in a list as well. Another thing that's changed a lot is the mini player. So to bring up the mini player, you can click here and replace this window with the mini player, or you can actually bring it up in addition to the main window. And here's the mini player, and you can see it's much more compact. Now Genius playlists are still there too. If you have Genius turned on, you got to go and do that under Store. You can click here, and it's interesting because now you've got Start Genius, which will create a Genius playlist based on the song you've selected. You can create a Genius playlist, or you can actually see the suggestions here, so you can see what songs it suggests before you go ahead and create a list or start playing it. Another new feature of iTunes 11 is integration with iCloud, in that when you purchase music, you can see the albums you purchased but you don't actually have on your Mac. So say one of these albums I didn't have on my Mac but I had bought in the iTunes store, I would see it here and a little cloud symbol here in the upper right. If I were to select it and try to play it, it would actually then download the album. This is only with albums you've bought from iTunes. So you may not see any of them, or you may have your entire library seemingly populated with these cloud albums. You can actually turn that off. You can hit hide music in the cloud. The search box here has changed a little bit in how it works. So you can still search for things, but the results now are in this little pop-up menu here. You can scroll down it, and right from here in the menu you can start playing the song or adding it to the Up Next playlist. So there's a lot you can do. You can hit, if you want to dig down into the songs, you can hit more. Also, you can narrow your search down clicking here and filtering it by certain things like artist and composer. If you don't like this interface here, you can turn off Search Entire Library. And what happens then if you search is then you get the results and it puts them in the regular list here. So for instance, I'm just viewing songs and you can see that's filter by all, and you can see now I've got everything here in the normal window instead of in this pop-up. Now iTunes is really customizable. It was before and it is now. So if you don't like some things here, you want more functionality, you can get to things by going to the View menu. So for instance, you want that left sidebar back, and I know I certainly do because I like to be able to get to things very quickly. You can go to the View menu and you can show sidebar. And you can see the sidebar looks just as it did in iTunes 10. Everything is there. Playlist shared, your devices. You can look at all your connected iOS devices, go to the different parts of your library. Everything's pretty much as it was before if you just turn that on, and it's easy and quick to be able to turn that on and off. You've also got some other handy options in the View menu. You can go to View and you still have the old column browser. If you liked that from many versions of iTunes ago, you can turn it on in iTunes 10 the same way, and you can turn it on here in iTunes 11. And you can determine what's in the column browser, and Command B does that very quickly. You could also go to the status bar here, turn that on, and you've got the status bar there at the bottom, which a lot of people like as well. So as for features that aren't available in iTunes 11, there's really only two that I can think of. One is iTunes DJ, but the Up Next feature pretty much replaces that, and it's integrated throughout. And there's also cover flow. You no longer have cover flow view. So let's look at iTunes 11. I'd be interested to hear what you think about it, especially if you feel it's acting faster than previous versions of iTunes, which is one of the big new features. Leave a comment to this video at MacMost.com. Until next time, this is Gary with MacMost Now. Want more video tutorials? Just go to MacMost.com, click on the videos link at the top of the page, and then you can view all of the hundreds of MacMost videos by category.